we didn't have an agreement with the Palestinians. The last agreement was the Y River Agreement signed by Prime Minister Netanyahu in the United States with Arafat. Since then, not Barak, not Sharon, not Olmert, and not Netanyahu today was able to sign an agreement with the Palestinians. So we withdrew, we totally withdrew from the west, from the north of the West Bank and from Gaza Strip. We uprooted thousands of citizens from their homes. It's a significant part of the territories. Is it help or does it help today, 5 years after, not 50 years after? Israel, when we face this, איך אומרים את זה, המשט הזה? This flotilla, it helps us in PR. No one mentioned that. No one mentioned that fact. That we withdrew totally from there. We took all our soldiers and all our citizens. There is no Israeli presence there. But it became a missiles base against Israel. And one of the main missiles base in the Middle East. And in the place where Shai lives, from time to time, they still shoot missiles on our villages, on our cities, on our citizens. And I can give you a lot more examples. Because what was the Oslo Agreement? We took a bunch of terrorists from Tunisia, brought them here, give them territory, gave them the Palestinian Authority. We established that, our state. I'm not talking about internal debates in Israel. Talking about historical facts. The fact is, so what I want to mention or to emphasize that sometimes it is very hard to pay in the hard coin of your national interests in order to have a better PR for 30 seconds, 40 seconds, 1 week. It is not more than that. And what will happen after September? First of all, I hope that a solution will be found. Until then, I'm not excluding that, even though I don't think there are high chances for that, but I'm not excluding that. And then we will face another vote in the United Nations against us. The United Nations also defined Zionism as racism in 1975. We have a lot of UN resolutions against us. There is also a resolution about a Palestinian state from 1988. I'm not saying it's totally the same. It won't be completed formally in the Security Council because we know it will be vetoed in the Security Council. We might face a more complicated situation afterwards, but the question is always, what is the alternative? If the alternative is to prejudge the territorial dimension in negotiations before negotiations will open and leave all the other questions open, it is a very hard coin to pay with.
Viviane?
Thank you very much for this speech. I have a few questions. I will revert. I'm sorry, I'm Viviane Teitelboom from Belgium. We are friends here, friends of Israel. We are Jewish parliamentarians, and we we face a lot of aggressiveness in our different and respective parliaments. So we know the story, basically. What I want to say is that I'm not sure your speech will help me in giving A, new facts, B, Asbara on the Palestinian side is very efficient, and it has a lot of interest and a lot of success in Europe. On our side, it's not as efficient. I'm not sure PR should last 30 seconds. I think it could last 30 months if it's done well. For them, it's lasting 20 years at least since the first Intifada. And going on steady. So maybe at least on the Asbara side, there is some questioning that could be done on the Israeli side, and maybe some answers could be done that could help us to help you. And I don't feel, let me finish, I don't feel it's the case, I have to say honestly.
Don't feel what is the case?
I don't feel that answers are, for instance, regarding, listen, regarding the history of negotiations with Palestinians, okay, it's negotiations are done if you want to reach peace between enemies. Nobody is saying these are friends and they want to all the best for Israel. Of course not. And the issue of refugees, we know. And the Hamas was not there when negotiations started. The Hamas is there now. And when you say we have to have, we cannot have a Palestinian state unless we go first to negotiations, the answer that's given to us is there was no negotiations before. There are no negotiations. It's stuck. So what negotiations are you talking about? What are you prepared to sit down with? What answer can we give? That's what I'm asking you. What answer should we give? The second question is...
No, I cannot take more than one question because I must leave, and you asked,
okay.
You already asked a few questions.
Okay.
I'm sorry,
okay.
but I want to answer you seriously.
Okay.
To try at least. First of all, we appreciate your friendship. I'm talking about all of you. We are totally aware to Palestinian and anti-Israeli aggressive propaganda in Western countries, and not only in Western countries. Let me tell you, it will continue, whatever will be in the negotiations in the foreseeable future. Don't expect that you will see, let's say, even 10% of that from what we are facing to the Syrian regime, which is brutally killing its citizens every day, every day, every day. They won't be delegitimized. We are totally aware, but, and let me tell you, we are not enjoying from having this kind of attacks or problems. We are not undermining the importance of support in the international public opinion, in the international political arena. We understand it perfectly well. But, first of all, we should bring the facts. And I can tell you that even the things I said here, or when I'm speaking abroad, I know that the facts are not brought, the facts are not brought in the public debate. You have more propaganda and less facts, and bringing the facts is a very effective way. Secondly, why do I think the Palestinian propaganda is succeeding? And I'm not saying that we cannot do a better job than the job we are doing today. And today I'm reading a book. I don't know if it was published in English. It was published not a very long time ago about our independence war, written by a historian, Benny Morris. And it describes, among other things, the days before the vote in the UN in November 47, which is very interesting to read, by the way. And I started to think about our achievements since then And what are the Palestinians' achievements? We have a prosperous state, a very strong state, with great economy, with achievements in science, in culture, in technology, in agriculture. And they have better PR. Because the resolution was a two-states resolution on much worse borders. So they have great PR, and because of the fact they do not have a state, and Israel perceived to be a strong state, and it is a strong state. I don't want to think about a situation that we will be weak with better PR. And let me tell you something. I don't know how you will take it, but I can recall the days of the suicide attacks on our cities in 2001, 2002. I was a cabinet secretary. We had much better PR. If we will be, we know the circumstances when we have good PR. This conflict will not be solved until the basic balance of power in the Middle East will be changed in terms of weakening the radical camp led by Iran. All the other things are things that are not true. We went a very long way with compromises. We unilaterally withdrew 2 times from Lebanon and from Gaza Strip and the north of the West Bank in the last decade. We already have 2 missiles centers on our borders. We will not do another mistakes in terms of our security and existence in order to have even 3 months of good PR. And as we define the situation, this is exactly the case. It doesn't mean that we cannot make better work in Hasbara, even to take the initiative from time to time and to put the things that we are ready to do. Sometimes the things that we are ready to do are undermined because the demands from Israel are so high that it doesn't seem to be a lot. If you are ready to give parts of your land, it is something which is not generous enough, because you should give whatever the Palestinians demand. I'm sorry for that. Maybe one of our problems is that we are trying to praising instead of adopting a totally different approach. But this is something from something that is for a different conversation. And unfortunately, I must leave because we are now signing an agreement with the college's staff, and I'm late for the occasion, unfortunately. I do want to thank you. I know that not every one of you agree to what I say, but I try to say what I believe in the most frank way I can do.